Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brant with CPC Bodybuilding, the home of men's classic physique. Today, we've got a special preview of the Texas Pro and men's classic physique with a special guest. My guest today is IFBB Classic Pro Brad Pfeifer of Texas. We got to have a Texas guy for a Texas Pro preview. Brad, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Good to be here, and I appreciate it. I'm doing great, man. I'm a little bit nervous to go over such a massive lineup full of such great talent, but all in all, I'm really happy to be here and ready to go over it.
But yeah, it's great to have you, man. This is going to be a great show. Like Brad said, we've got, I believe, 28 of some of the best classic physique has to offer. We got 6 Olympians in this lineup. It's going to be a crazy show, guys. Probably the best show this year outside of the Arnold Classic. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen with y'all just so you can check out the lineup here. So we've got the full lineup card here for the Texas Pro. Now, before we get into this, I want to make sure to give a shout out to my special guest today, Brad. So if you don't already, make sure you give Brad a follow on Instagram. His tag is up here, brad.pfeifer. And yeah, just check him out on Instagram and give him a follow, guys. So the Texas Pro is this Friday, August 18th. We got prejudging at 9 a.m. Central Time and finals at 5 p.m. Central Time. I do know that there will be a live stream per Freddie Nadu. The live stream will go up this Thursday. So if you're looking for it now, you're not going to be able to find it. They're going to put it up sometime on Thursday, and that will be on Battle Up Productions. So I think it's battleup.com. So be looking out for that. Once it gets posted, I'll put it in the description of this video. And then if you are wanting to attend the show in person, you will not be able to buy tickets online, I believe, anymore because they're holding 20% of the tickets for in-person guests only because they're at about 70 to 80% capacity already. So they're
Dang.
saving that last 20% of tickets for those who are coming in person. So buy your tickets at the door, guys. So the Texas Pro, again, is this Friday. Got a big lineup. We're going to go through each guy. So starting out, we have Todd Akers, and let's see here. So this is Todd's pro debut. These are some check-ins from mid-July. So these are about 4 weeks out. And Todd turned pro at 2020 Nationals as a welterweight. And if we could find some of his show photos, man, he brought some really fantastic condition in that show where he won his pro card. There's a wow close up on his glutes, real nice. So this is so this is when he turned pro at Nationals. These are just a couple of front shots. Brad, what do you think of this front double?
Well, I will also say that he goes to my gym. He has been there the whole time I've been there, so I've got to watch him develop. And he definitely has vastly improved on this previous look. His legs, back, everything has come up since then. So almost I want to say this wouldn't even do him justice for how he looks now. He's very conditioned. Again, I see him in person, so I can make a testament for his current condition. He has a great shape. And yeah, I mean, there you go. It's a prime example. His chest is pretty rock hard and granite right now. And funny story, actually, I was literally on the machine next to him while he was recording this. So, but yeah, and on top of that, he's also a really talented physical therapist too. He's helped me a lot with some of the issues that I've had in my knee. But he has a great physique and he's got great conditioning. Love to see how he pans out here after making a long hiatus and or taking a long hiatus and coming back to the stage after all this time, man. But yeah.
Todd Akers making his pro debut. So next up, we've got Osmar Alanis out of Mexico. So this is also his pro debut. He turned pro at the 2021 NPC Monterey Championships. And these are just a few photos. His stage photos are really, really solid, especially from that pro qualifier he did. These are from 2 weeks out. He's coached by David Demesquita, who's a friend of mine. And I know they're bringing a great package to this show. Great condition. It looks like 2 weeks out. And I think he's just got really clean lines. You can see it here. through the quads. I just really like this guy's look. Trying to find some cleaner pictures. You can see the quads here, crazy vascularity,
Yeah, he's got really great quads.
really solid arms as well. See if we can find some show photos because I thought those were some very impressive shots. Let's see here. This looks like backstage at the pro qualifier. Okay. Oh, this was. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is from the Olympia Amateur 2021. So, Brad, what are your thoughts on his physique here?
Man, really solid. I love his posing as well. He's kind of got that spunk about him, you know, especially that shot right there, that starting pose right there that it starts on. Very classic. I just love the way he hits that. And as you said, I mean, very clean lines throughout his quads. It looks like he knows how to come in peeled. So if his 2 weeks out shots were looking like that, then I'm sure he's looking a lot better right now and a lot more dialed in. I would love to see some improvement on his back though, especially the lower back, like his lower lat insertions and spinal erectors and things like that. But I mean, I'm sure he's improved on that since then. But yeah, really, really good shape. I like his posing, and man, his quads are really good though. I think that's like the standout point of him is those quads are just so dominant.
Yeah. Osmar Alanis will make his pro debut out of Mexico. Next up, we have one of probably the favorites in this lineup. We've got an Olympian, last year's Texas State Pro champion in classic physique. We got Dankove Anderson, aka the Black Panther. So, Brad, when we look at Danny here, what are you looking for in his physique? Like, what are some things that stand out?
Well, watch him right there. That's what stands out immediately. When he hits that vacuum, I was at this show at the Texas State Pro Am and I watched him do this. He really knows how to play into how dramatic of a V taper he has. So you'll notice, I mean, the first thing he does when he comes on stage is he hits just a front relax, you know, a mandatory pose, but with him, his structure is so good that it's one of those ones that makes you say, dang, you know, it's such a crazy shape. I do hope that he brings in a next level of conditioning, especially through the back, because I think that's what could be the thing that wins the show for him if he brings a really solid, uh, you know, bit of conditioning, specifically through the back, because you can tell he's very conditioned through the front. I love his stage presence. You know, I love watching him. His side try there is very classic. He's just, I mean, when you think of classic, you think of the front double and the front relax that he hits immediately. I mean, that's just, you know, testament to it right there.
Yeah, man, just a spectacular physique, and you just love to see guys who enjoy themselves on stage. He's a guy who enjoys the process,
Oh
and
yeah.
I think he embodies classic physique very well. So that's Dan Covey Anderson, the Black Panther. Next up, we've got Aaron Armini out of Canada. So this is from last week at the Tupelo Pro, where he took third in Masters and sixth in Open. And what you'll see here is I think one of his strengths is definitely his posing. He's a very solid and methodical poser, brings very sharp condition. I think he's definitely added a bit of size since his last pro season. I'll try to find some closer photos just to get your take on his physique. So these are from 4 days out. So this would be a day ago. Just looking at some of these shots, Brad, what do you think are some of Aaron's strengths?
First thing that I notice is that he is pretty conditioned, especially in the quads. Um, I think he has a really good shape. I like his ab and thigh because it has a good V taper. His quads complement it a lot. He has pretty decently good sized quads, and his calves. That's another thing that's really one of those things that often gets missed, but it, in my opinion, is one of the most classic attributes to have is to have massive calves, you know, and he
Yeah,
definitely has
absolutely.
it. But I will say I do like his posing, just from what I could see there. He's very slow, reminds me of the old school posing. You know, just very slow and methodical, like you said. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think he's definitely one of those guys who his stock is rising in classic. It seems like he's really just kind of gone from initially being a third call out pro to last year being a second call out guy, and then last week just made first call outs. So I think if he could place top 10 in this lineup, this would be a monumental step for him after last week as well, because this is a very challenging lineup. So looking for
Definitely.
him here in this lineup. Next up, we've got another Olympian. We got Anthony Barbera the third. He won last year's Atlantic Coast Pro to go to the Olympia. He's finished twice in two different shows this year. That would be the Atlantic Pro and also Tupelo last week. So Barbs is a guy who's known for condition. We've got some shots here from 4 days ago. This is I think the day before Tupelo. So what are your thoughts here on this update from Barbs? What are some strengths in his physique?
Instantly, the first thing that pops out is conditioning. His quads are so separated, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, conditioning all the way. I think that's absolutely his strength and he plays right into it. Um, yeah, right there. That side chest, literally, he's got every single strand, every muscle fiber is just coursing through there. But yeah, man, I mean, that's his strength. He's got a good shape, though. He has a really good shape. Um, I like the way he hits some of his poses. I do think that the way he hits his side chests is unique, but I don't know if it plays to his strengths. I don't know. I can't really say yet. That's something that I've still undecided on with him. But all in all, he has a really solid shape. And his conditioning is just supreme. It's next level conditioning. And clearly he knows how to bring it every time because I don't think he misses ever with conditioning.
Yeah, him and his coach have definitely figured out the formula. Shout
Oh
out
yeah,
Sebastian, the heavy unit. They've been working together for about a year now, and I mean, you can tell that they figured it out. Took him to the Olympia after being kind of a second call out guy. So I think Barb's will definitely be in the mix in this show. I'll be really intrigued to see what he looks like standing next to some of these big guys. So
definitely.
that's Anthony Barbera the third. Next up, we've got Adam Beveridge, another Canadian. So these are some updates here 1 day ago. So this would be 4 days out from Texas. Some black and white kind of giving those classic vibes here, hitting the back double. So when we look at his physique, Brad, what are some things that stand out to you?
A little hard to tell from the side angles. Do we have any other like front on shots that we could see?
Here's one right here. I like this little classic, it's not
Tilted,
necessarily
most muscular.
most
I
muscular.
don't know who that guy is, but that guy is that him? Because that guy shredded the bone right now, man.
So Adam's the guy on the left.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure
Okay.
who this is.
Oh
Let's see.
shoot. Yeah. Okay. So okay.
Oh,
So
that's he's another guy who competed. I think he competed at Vancouver with
wow. Yeah. This guy's freaking diced, man. He looks great.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the back double.
Wow. His back looks tremendous just from what I could see. I wish there's a little bit more light on it, but you could tell he's got a lot of thickness even in the lower back. Um, so far, I mean, he's got a lot of density. His posing looks on point and he looks like he's peeled. The only thing I'd say is he might need a little bit more arms and a little bit more legs, but man, he's definitely got it. I like his package right now. It's looking good.
Yeah, another guy who I definitely think he's on the rise. He's got one of those physiques that just seems to level up every single year he competes. He uses
Definitely.
pretty wisely. So that's Adam Beveridge out of Canada. Next up, we got Terrence Bonds, who is making his pro debut. This is him second from the middle, so left center right here in the red trunks. He turned pro at Masters, Teen, and Collegiate Nationals last year in the 35 plus light heavyweight division. And I mean, just from this photo right here, he blows everybody else away. Like, this isn't even close in that shot. I mean, to me, this is like lights out at this show. He looks incredible for a Masters pro.
Yeah.
Great condition, spectacular shape, the granite hardness through the glutes, the hamstrings. You can see the pianoing through the hamstrings, the calves especially. That spiked calf is nuts. He's got that cool little split insertion in the calves.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's tremendous, especially for a Masters competitor. I think I'm really looking forward to his pro debut. I think he's got spectacular potential here in Classic.
I really like his front double too. Jeez, man, was that him? Because that guy is freaking huge. Were those
Oh,
other
the
pictures
next
of him
the
too?
next guy's a different guy.
Oh, it's like, I mean, I couldn't tell, but yeah, I mean, either way though, this guy's got some really, really good lines, man. His lats are just from the side shot, you can tell that he has a great V taper, and the feathering in his quads just from the front and the teardrop looks really impressive. Good glute ham tie-in right there. It looks like he comes in peeled as well. So, I mean, I've never seen him before, but I have pretty high expectations for him if he's got a shape like that. That's a really good shape.
Terrence Bonds making his pro debut. Next up, so the big guy that Brad was referring to, this is Harold Wright. This guy, the craziest thing about this is he's over, I think he's 50 years old. So
What?
Harold is,
Oh my
in my
gosh.
opinion, I was really disappointed to not see him on the Masters Olympia lineup because this guy would be top five Masters Olympia, like no doubt in my mind.
Absolutely.
How big he is. Like, and I mean, he's placed very well at some of these shows. Like I know he was top three at it was either Texas State or Heart of Texas just 2 years ago against a few Olympians. Let me see here. Man, I wish there were some like good stage shots. I probably tagged him in a stage shot from his last show, actually. Um, Damn, I can't find it. But he last appeared at the Optimum Classic this year. He took ninth place there. And I mean, as you can tell, just crazy muscular.
Yeah,
Really tall guy.
he is big. That's crazy. I can't believe he's gonna make it into a classic weight cap. That's wild. And for his age, to hold on to that much size, especially in the legs, that's really impressive. This guy's definitely that's that's something to behold right there.
Yeah.
Guy looks amazing, especially the back, man. The detail in the back. Yeah, that's I mean, that's the more I think about his age, man, the more impressive this becomes too. I mean, to hold on to that much size. Really excited to see him up there though.
Yep. This is Harold Bright. Next up, we got Eddie Chip making his second pro appearance. He debuted at the UK Pro, his home country, last week. He took fifth place in a pretty solid lineup. And what we see here, I think, is condition, just very solid condition, especially through the quads. The detail through the quads is something that really gets me. I think he could probably use a little bit more size in the lower half and the arms as well. But I think he's got great shape and structure. What do you think, Brad?
I agree. I like when he hits the front double and he pulls the vacuum because it just cinches his waist in just that bit more. Um, I do like the way his quads kind of have this almost like freak factor shape to them, kind of like
Raisins.
yeah, they're like a weird shape to them, but it kind of adds to it, kind of like how Chris has that like almost like weird middle quad muscle insertion as well, Chris Bumstead. But yeah, man, I like the way his shape is. I do think that he could use a little bit more size in the arms. The legs aren't too undersized. I don't. I think they look pretty good, honestly, especially from the side. He could use a little bit more size in them, but I think his arms, as well, could use more of the size though. But yeah, really good shape. Really good shape.
So that's Eddie Chip out of the UK. Next up, we've got Carlos Marchand out of Puerto Rico, and he does have an Instagram, but I don't think his photos really do him justice. I think a lot of his photos were recently either archived or deleted. So these stage photos I was really impressed by, and it surprised me that this is a ninth place finish at Puerto Rico. I think it literally came down to the tan. Like, I just think he needs a better tan, and he could place a lot better because if you look at these shots, we look at this front double, very classic, solid structure. You could probably argue maybe more size through the lats. I think more width there would be helpful. But I mean, I think this guy has a very, very classic physique. Like you look at this side shot here. Just he's got the density, he's got the roundness, the structure. Look at a back shot here. If I can find one. I mean, the back double looks pretty solid to me. Again, I think more width through the lats, but like to me, I think this guy looks very solid.
Yeah, I agree. He has a really good shape. When he pulls that vacuum in the front double as well, just disappears the waistline. I can't tell because it looks like he's really conditioned in some shots, but in others, I can't tell. It looks like maybe that could have also been something that hurt him, aside from the tan. It's weird because it's usually the conditioning in the lower body that's the hardest to bring in, but for some reason I can see it in the shoulders. It looks like maybe there's a little bit more. I don't want to say like water or fullness or something, but I think just a little bit more conditioning through the upper body is all he needs. And man,
I think this brought something out too.
yeah, he's got gyno as well. He needs to get sorted out. That probably hurt him too. But I mean, he's got a terrific shape clearly, and for him to get ninth as well is still really good.
Yeah,
All
I
things
really
considered too.
Zeke, man. Carlos Marchand out of Puerto Rico. Right. So our next guy is another Texan. We've got Bernardo Costa. So this is an update from about 10 days ago. So this would be roughly 2.5 weeks out. So this is from a posing session he had at Destination Dallas with Ray Baker. If you guys know Ray Baker, he's a really awesome coach, really awesome guy. So Bernardo took sixth at the Optimum Classic, and he's a really tall guy, got solid structure. I think really what hurt him last time at Optimum was he wasn't quite in the best shape. I mean, you can tell here from this shot, I think his condition could have been better through the legs. And I also think his tan probably hurt him a bit too. I think he probably should have been a bit darker. That definitely looks like a self tan job to me, not like
Yeah,
the show tan.
I would like to see him a little bit more conditioned, um, especially in the back, the posterior chain. Maybe just a little bit of water manipulation would help that. But I like the way he hits that side chest too. He's got a really strong side chest.
Yeah, he's very talented, has great structure, looks
Yeah.
very classic. It's just a matter of, I think, nailing the peak and coming in sharp, and then nailing the tan, man. Because he's got great potential, I think.
Yeah. I really like that side chest that he has though.
That back shot's really solid too. If he,
Yeah. That shot right there too.
yeah,
He looks really good though. He looks really good. I just want to see him a little bit more conditioned and fix the tan a little bit.
so that is Bernardo Costa out of Texas. Next up, we got another Olympian. We've got Tony Duong. This is from last year's Classic Olympia. He took fifth at Tupelo last week, which is a bit surprising to me. I figured he was a shoe-in for top two. And really the issue seemed to be condition. I think he just got beat in the condition category because, frankly, not many people are beating him in shape, in my opinion. What stands out to you, Brad, in terms of Tony's physique?
He is very classic. I love the way he hits this side tricep. He has a lot of similarities in the way he hits it too, and how it comes off as the Black Panther does too. I love the way they both hit it, honestly. If anything, I have a likening for the way he does it in particular, just because of how round and full his quads are. He's got great arms, great shoulders, good midsection, phenomenal midsection. It's that perfect symmetrical midsection. Abs are together. Everything about him just flows really well. And he definitely knows how to embody that classic look to his posing too. And I agree. I think he just needs to improve his conditioning, which I think he's probably had enough time to maybe bring in that extra like 5% that he needs to nail it 100%. I think he's very close. It's just if he can get that conditioning down, he will be, a good contender for in like the top 5 area, I think.
Yeah, I sure hope he brings better condition because I would love to see that battle with some of these other top guys. So that is Tony Duong. Next up, we've got a San Antonio guy. We've got Dino Estrada. This is from the Tampa Pro. I know this was a bit of a disappointing finish for him because I personally expected him to be a first call out guy, just, kind of battling for that top five. And he wasn't necessarily in the top five, but he's very capable. Brad, what do you think of his physique?
I actually know Dino personally, but I will add that I thought he was in the first callouts. He just wasn't in top five. I think he was on the very edge of
Yeah, I think
first
he was
callouts.
like, I mean, he was at like the very end, and it was
Yeah,
an 8-man first call out. I mean, it's first
yeah,
call out, but yeah,
yeah. No, no, I know. I just wanted to give him that credit because he
yeah,
he did make it. He did make it. Um, I love his legs and his calves, and also his back. Just basically legs and back stand out to me so much. When he turns around and hits that back double, man, it's so strong. And the way he poses as well, he has so much confidence with it. And again, very, very classic. But solid, solid physique. Um, I think maybe just a bit more conditioning. I can't really say. It's hard to say what more he could do. I do think he needs a bit more size in the arms for sure, and in the chest as well. But he's got really strong legs and a really, really good back. But I'm really excited to see him up there again. He and another Muscle Factory goer. So shout out to the Muscle Factory and all the guys that are competing there at the Texas Pro.
yeah. I love Dino's physique, just very classic looking, and 9 times out of 10, I think he's a guy who can. He's one of those guys that I just love how he can beat anybody regardless of how big they are. Like he's that good. I think he's just he's a giant killer for lack of a better word. He's one of those guys who he can show up in any show and really just battle. So
Agreed.
want to get
Agreed.
that heard just in case Dino thinks I'm dissing him for the previous.
No, no
Dino, I
hard feelings.
promise I'm not slighting you, man. Love you.
No, it's all right. I'll talk to the guy. I see him in person. No problem.
So it's Dino Estrada. Next up, we got one of the favorites here in this show. We got the Texas Oak, Logan Franklin, making his first appearance since the Sean Ray Hawaiian Classic in 2021. Let's see if we can find this. Is from the Arnold Classic. This is just like a kind of a shabby one. Let's see if we can find anything. It's just like a nice little front relaxed. But yeah, Logan was coached by Milos last year during the Olympia, had something go wrong with the peak, and Logan decided to coach himself afterwards. So Logan's been coaching himself for the past few months throughout this off season, and I do believe he's going to hit this show as well as the Sean Ray Hawaiian show again. And if he gets his Olympia qualification this year, presumably the Olympia. So this is his first show of the season. Brad, what do you like about Logan's physique?
There's nothing to not really like about this guy's physique. It's very balanced. And it's crazy you called it a front relax, but it's not. He's just like standing there, like he's so complete and his lats flare out so much. He's got such a good shape that it looks like he's hitting a front relax, but he's basically just standing there. He looks that
Like the
impressive.
OG 70s front relax.
Yeah, he's
Or
just
was
standing there,
actually a front relax.
He's just like, I'm so dominant. I'm just gonna stand here and this is what you get, and you're gonna be in awe. No, I mean, there's from the front, everything stands out. I mean, the dude is very, very complete. Um, he's man, it's a toss-up, but he's one of my picks to potentially win this whole thing. His posing is arguably the best in classic physique. It's very, very old school feeling and very, very powerful. It's not always slow, but it's not always, too fast, but it always feels powerful. And I think that's what always stands out when I watch him pose and when I watch him perform. Um, Everything about him is solid. So I don't really have anything bad to say. I just hope that he nails it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, likewise, man. I really hope that we get to see Logan's best
And can
because
we just talk about this dude's jawline? Like, good lord, man. Like this dude has the jaw of the gods. Oh my god.
all right. So that is Logan Franklin. I gotta pull up Lucas's page because I'm missing it real quick. But next up, we got Lucas Giannini, who is the 2022 national champion in men's classic physique. Now, Brad, you've seen this guy up close and personal. He took fourth at Tampa last week in his pro debut, which is saying something in that lineup. What stands out to you about Lucas's physique?
His legs are absolutely massive. They made me very self-conscious about my own when I was backstage with this guy. And also he has crazy biceps. I love his front double is very classic. He has a very, very deep vacuum too, like a painfully deep looking vacuum. But I love his biceps. His legs are just so dense and so separated, and he really knows how to bring his conditioning too. He's nailed that time and time again. The only thing that he needs to bring up is his back. That's the thing that's always going to hurt him, I think. He needs to build in his lower lats and get some width to them, but everything else is there. He just needs to get that back filled in a little bit more. But I know the guy. I mean, I competed with him. He's a very nice dude. Very, very humble and kind, but solid physique, very solid physique, very classic too.
Lucas Giannini. Next up, we got Suleiman Kamara. So his last appearance was at the 2022 Optimum Classic, where he took last place. And I mean, I think he's got great structure just looking at this front double right here. Just really a matter of two things. One is condition, which you can control, and then two is just building up the lats a little bit more. And I think he's on his way. He's got great structure. His side chest here could probably hit the pose a bit differently. Be a little bit.
I think the things that he needs to fix are very much so in control of him. It's his posing for sure needs a little bit of adjustment. It's not horrible by any means. It just needs minor tweaks to make it a little bit more classic and accentuate the things that he does have. And he definitely needs to bring his conditioning quite a bit. It's weird because he looks it, and I guess it's more just a problem that a lot of guys have usually is the lower chain usually is the last thing to come in, because you can tell in his upper body is very conditioned. It's just the lower body needed some more time to get dialed in. But he does have a good shape. He's got a small waist, a good V taper. Just a little bit more conditioning, a little bit changes to the posing, and some more lats as well.
Suleiman Kamara. Next up, we've got Timothy Kalo, who last appeared at the 2021 Nashville Night of Champions in my hometown of Nashville. So this is a 10th place finish right here, which I don't know. It was either last place or close to last place. And I think he's got a great frame, very wide, has very solid lats, solid arms. This is another just case of needs to adjust the posing and the condition, just control the controllables, I think. And you might agree with this too. I think probably more size in the lower body to match the upper body.
Yeah, he definitely needs some more size in the lower body and a little bit more arms as well. His legs are going to need to improve a lot between this show and the Texas Pro if he wants to be competitive. He does need more conditioning as well. I'll say that. But I do think that if you pulled a vacuum, man, you can always tell with some people that if they just hit a vacuum, their waist would probably shrink significantly. And I can tell with him, he's probably one of those guys. It's kind of like with the same thing that happened with Charles Griffin. You know, when he started pulling that vacuum, man, it just shrinks it in. I think it's probably the same thing with this guy as well. It probably helped him a lot.
So that is Timothy Kalo. Next up, we got Marof Montanari, who made his pro debut at Chicago. And just looking at this, so this is his freestyle posing routine from pre-judging. I think he's got great structure. What do you think, Brad?
His legs are very, very, very dominant. So then you get a good look at this guy. He definitely has a really good structure. I would like to see him attempt a vacuum and see. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I think him hitting his front double with a vacuum would look pretty good. Legs are very dominant, so I think he might need to bring his upper body up some to make it more complete and match that and symmetrical. And again, same thing here. This is at the Chicago Pro, and it looks like he needs a little bit more time on conditioning. So hopefully he's had that fixed by now, when he comes up on stage for the Texas Pro. But really like his shape, and I love how dominant his legs are. I just wish they would come up and match the upper body a bit.
So that is Marof Montanari. Next up, we got Jordan Moore, who's on the right here. So he last took fifth at Mid USA last year. And the things that I like about Jordan's physique is he controls what you can, which is the condition. Definitely no issues there.
Yeah,
Very dug out, very hard, grainy, and full muscle. Very hard to
like
do all
granite.
those things. Um, Trying to find some better shots. I really like that side shot. This back shot is very solid too. Just very, very sharp. Um, I
Yeah,
think,
he's got a good shape too.
yeah, very solid shape. I think my one criticism when I was looking at, so this is him with the rest of the top five, is probably needs a little bit more width through the lats because he's got great wheels, incredible wheels. He's
Yeah,
got great delts too. But I think, this is a problem that, I run into as well is, I do have a little bit narrow of clavicles, and you sometimes need wider lats to accentuate that and offset it and make you look a little bit more classic. I think really just structurally, he might have narrow clavicles and needs a little bit more lats, but he looks fantastic. I love his physique.
definitely. His legs are going to be the standout feature to him for sure, because those are some really powerful legs.
Yeah.
I think he needs a little bit more in the lats, but I think he could also, if he took his shoulder in that pose and just rotated it out, it would make the lat pop out some more, because you can tell that he does have it on the other side. I think there would just be a slight posing adjustment there with what he's doing. Um, I would love to see him actually doing like a full on routine so I could see his body in motion and see what it looks like as he goes through it all. But yeah, I like how dense and grainy and hard his conditioning is, and just the overall look as well is really good. I think because of how dominant his legs are, he could use some more size up top, but still really complete package all in all.
Yeah. So that is Jordan Moore. Next up, we have Yuri Kasanga Mukuna, who's making his pro debut. He turned pro at the 2022 NPC African Pro Qualifier in Class D. So this is a big man. Very, very tall, great structure. I'm trying to find some photos from that show. I thought we had some here. If not, I can pull up. Here we go. This is what we want. So this is from that pro qualifier here where he turned pro, I believe. Or this might be a guest posing actually. Um, but I think he's
Pretty
got,
sharp for a guest posing.
yeah, really superb structure in my opinion. I think, the only thing that he runs into is the same thing every tall guy runs through, and that's just needs to build up the legs. That's it. More size in the legs, maybe a little bit more in the lats as well. But I really like this guy's physique, and I think he's got a really bright future here in Classic.
Yeah, that midsection is really nice too. The overall just V taper, the flow from the lats into the waist when he hits the front shots too is really nice. I like that.
So that's Yuri Kasanga Mukuna. Next up, we got a guy who isn't being talked about very much, but I think deserves a lot more credit than he's currently being given. This is Jaehoon Park out of South Korea. This guy placed 15th at the Olympia last year. There were 57 guys in that show, so placing is monumental to begin with. This is his Olympia prejudging freestyle posing routine. And when we look at this, Brad, what stands out to you?
Razor sharp conditioning. It looks really good. His posing is tremendous as well. The other thing that I want to add is that his back. I don't know if it's going to show it here or not, but he has a really good back. And I know that's one thing that is always difficult for the Asian guys to bring in is the backs. They have the lower back for him is what really stands out to me. You could, yeah, right there, perfect. You can see he has a really developed lower back there. And it's a good shot for him. But even here, you can see he's got that granite hard conditioning in his legs, man. The glutes right there just look like they're made out of steel. Um, Conditioning, I think, is his strong suit. So this is gonna be really cool to see him come back on stage. I don't know where I'm gonna place him. I had no idea he was even doing this show until we started talking about it. So I'm not sure. I want to say he could be in the top 5, but I just can't say. I don't want to say it either because I feel like there might be somebody coming up that that could also take it.
So that is Jai Hun Park, another classic Olympian. Next up, we got Kyle Puckett. So he's returning to the stage after 2 years. And these are some shots from a little bit earlier this afternoon, actually. And I think Kyle has made some crazy improvements. He always had like world class legs. And to me, it looks like he's really brought up the upper body, especially the lats. He's got a very tiny waist. He looks like he's made some serious improvements to his arms. His arms look like they've almost doubled in size.
Yeah, this guy looks tremendous. I
Look at
love his
these.
legs too, man. His legs, the separation in them, the density of them, just that front relaxed right there looks beautiful. I love the way that looks. And furthermore, his chest look like it looks like a shelf. I mean, this guy is he's very complete. And I haven't seen him until recently. I've just started to see some of his updates show up on my feed. But yeah, this guy always catches my eye. He's got a really good shape. I would say he could be a dark horse for top 5 if he really truly nails the conditioning and comes in. It looks like maybe he's got a little bit of water in the back. He might need to just get that paper thin skin look by doing a little bit of water manipulation, but he looks really, really good. I'd say a dark horse for sure.
Absolutely. Definitely think he's capable of that, if not the first call out, he'll be in that like 7 to 8 mix, I think for
Yeah.
sure. So that's Kyle Puckett. Next up, we got one of the favorites returning to the stage. He's been basically MIA on Instagram. We got Rob Timms, last appeared at the 2021 Classic Olympia where he took ninth place. And Brad, when we look at just his physique, now this isn't going to be really reflective of anything recent because this is half a year ago.
Yeah.
What really stands out about Rob Timms?
That upper body. I mean, it's just the flaring lats, the biceps that just look cartoonish. I mean, everything about his upper body is just so dominant. His waist is still tiny. I mean, people dream about having lats and an upper body like that. I mean, that's seriously. So I think this is something that a lot of people have said is just he's got to make sure that his legs are matching his upper body. I know he hasn't posted in a while, but I vaguely remember seeing a story where he mentioned him pulling back on training upper body quite a bit in order to get it to balance out with his legs. And then vicariously, as he lost a little bit of size in the upper body, he would gain some size to put into his legs as far as weight cap goes. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely someone who could win the whole dang thing, or come second potentially as well. But who knows? I mean, the guy hasn't posted much, so we can't really say. But I have pretty high expectations for him. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. The rematch of the century between him and Logan Franklin here at the Texas Pro is one of the things that I've been looking forward to for a while. That
Yeah,
upper body, man, is just something to behold.
yeah, absolutely, dude. For those of you guys watching who are not aware, this guy won the 2021 Texas Pro and beat Logan Franklin. Came out of nowhere. He hadn't competed in years and just came in, stole the show, and really stole the spotlight because I mean it was pretty clearly his show to win too. So
Yeah, when he came out on stage and hit that front double, everyone knew. Everyone was
yeah.
like, "Oh no!" Yeah, this guy's the real deal, man. I'm excited to see him.
Next up, we got Bob Waterhouse, who has had an awesome season thus far. He finished top 3 at Vancouver as well as Tampa. And just looking at some of these outdoor shots from Tampa, I really like this most muscular. Just crazy condition, separation, the hardness.
Looking
The
like an anatomy map.
Bob has really, really come up. Just incredible transformation from 2 years ago. You'll see right here. This is from Tampa 2021 to Tampa 2023. Just like insane, dude.
Yeah, he's really leveled up quite a bit. Um, Conditioning definitely stands out for him. I think he could use a little bit more size in the legs, but they are shredded to the nines, man. You can see every single muscle group in those things. I love his midsection too. He's got those big abs, you know, and he hits that most muscular, kind of like those big Andrew Jack looking abs that just stick out and pop out at you. And just the conditioning is definitely a strength. He's got a lot of muscle for sure. I just think he needs a little bit more in the legs. And I think we had talked about this, but the way he was hitting his front and rear relax might have needed a little bit of tweaking, and that could have hurt him a little bit in his placings at his last show. I don't remember if he was doing that at both shows, but I think a slight adjustment to posing and a little bit of size in the wheels would help him quite a bit.
Yeah. So that is Bob Waterhouse. Next up, we got Casey Wilson. So Casey appeared at the Tupelo Pro last weekend, and very, very tall guy, turned pro in men's physique at North Americans last year. Great classic structure. When we look at these hotel check-in photos, Brad, what stands out about his physique?
Well, I know Casey personally. I competed with him at North Americans. He was in Class D and I was in Class C, and he ended up getting his pro card in men's physique actually, and he just came out of nowhere too. I remember me and him were talking backstage when he told me he was doing men's physique, and I remember I had seen him on Instagram leading up to the show, and the first thing that stood out to me was his V taper is nuts and how small his waist is. And I remember we were talking, we're like, all right, you got to hit that men's physique Superman pose where you just put your hands on your hips like this. And he did that, man. And he came out there. And I remember seeing the pictures of him doing it. It just looked crazy. But there's a video he has up, a reel.
Right,
Yeah, right there. That's exactly what we were talking about too. He hits it and he's just so dominant, man. He's got such a big clavicle. His shoulders are so big and he's got such a tight waist. But the funny thing about it is just seeing his legs fitting into those men's physique trunks. They're just about to burst at the seams. He has, in my opinion, one of the craziest shapes. There's a reel that he posted where he hits this like he's doing an abs and thighs, like just right there. I mean, look at this shoulder to waist ratio is stupid, man. He's got terrific legs too.
You'll see it.
And furthermore, this dude looks like Henry Cavill's brother. Like he's just a beautiful looking man, you know. But he's also super nice. I've talked to him in person quite a bit. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's always trying to help you out any way he can. And yeah, I mean, I think one thing that he will need to improve on if he wants to get a good placing is just conditioning. But I know that's always been something hard for him because he has I think it's an autoimmune issue where he has an issue with water retention. Kind of the same thing that Chris Bumstead, but he's gotten a hold of it quite a bit. But I know that it's something that still is hard for him. But the dude has the craziest shape. I mean, just standing next to the guy. I remember just standing next to him and I felt like a little midget too, because he's so tall, man. You can see him. He's right there. Look at that, dude. That is the craziest thing ever when he does that. And then he hits the vacuum and it gets even more comical. But yeah, he's so tall, man. He's almost as tall as the door frames. I remember standing next to him and I felt dwarfed. But he's got just the shape and the legs always stand out to me because he's got massive, really grainy and thick quads, and he's just got this ridiculous V taper. But awesome classic physique competitor, and I hope that he brings in the conditioning for this show. I think this is supposed to be his last classic physique show. He might even be doing I don't know if they're gonna let him, but he wants to do men's physique here too. But I know he plans on doing men's physique going forward.
That's Casey Wilson. Next up, we got William Withers making his pro debut. So this is a shot from 7 weeks ago. So he turned pro at 2021 Junior Nationals in Class A. And I was looking at his stage photos earlier today. I'm hoping we can find something on here. If not, I can pull up the stage photos. But I think he's got a great classic structure. This looks to be from his pro qualifying win at Junior Nats. I think he's got great density. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, very dense. I think he needs to hit that vacuum too, because that makes his shape really pop out too. I think Yeah, right there. Another one of those guys where when they hit the vacuum, it really just magnifies their shape and brings it up. Really, really good, solid physique, really dense. Um, can't really tell based on the pictures that he's posted recently from 7 weeks out, I think it was. So I can't really say what his conditioning is going to look like, but just hope that he brings it in conditioned and yeah, that's all I could say for him really because it's just been a little bit since he's been on stage and there's not really any recent updates.
Yep. So that's Will Withers. And last but not least, we got Ben Zimmerman, who won Class B at North Americans last year. And I think he's leveled up tremendously. These are some recent photos from a day ago. And the dude is just muscular as can be. Looking at some of these shots, Brad, what are some of his strengths?
Quads, man, that outer sweep looks beautiful. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. CM Gossens, I think, kind of reminds me of his legs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With that really strong outer sweep that he has. I like his shape a lot. Really wide shoulders, big flaring lats. It's a good shot for him. That front double too. Very classic look, man. He's just solid all around. It looks like he's made quite a bit of improvements. But yeah, I didn't even realize I competed on the same stage as this guy back in 2022. Yeah, he looks really good, man. Really, really good.
He's gotten a lot better
I
since.
like that side tricep. The only thing I'd say he might need is just a little bit more arms. I think. Is there any back shots? Let me see.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dang, that is a dense back. That's gonna do really well. I think he's gonna be doing really good at this show. I think either in that top eight or just outside of it is my guess. Assuming he comes in absolutely peeled. Um, and has good posing and everything's on point. He just needs to come in 100% for sure. I just think he needs a little bit more arms to kind of match those quads and that lower body. But everything else is there. Everything else is definitely there. He looks really good.
Yep. So that is Ben Zimmerman. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our entire lineup. So now we're going to get to the exciting part. This is me and Brad's picks. So we're going to give you guys our top five and our winner for the Texas Pro. Now, as a special guest, Brad, I'm going to give you the option. Would you like to, we got three ways we can do this. Either you can go first, I can go first, or we can do like alternating. Like you can give a pick, I can give a pick, and we can go that way.
I kind of like the alternating.
Yeah, me
We can
too.
just alternate who goes first for each one.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go first for my first place pick.
You want to go
Uh,
fifth to first?
okay. All right. Yeah, let's do that.
Build
Let's do
up.
that.
We'll build up to the hype.
Yeah. Um, all right, I'll go first with fifth then. I hope I'm saying this right. Jae Park. I think he will place in the top five at the very least. He could be up as high as like top three. It just depends. I haven't seen him in a while. And I can't really say for sure. Um, but I think he could be fifth, probably.
All right. So Jaehoon Park in fifth place for Brad. My fifth place pick is going to be Barb's, Anthony Barbieri the third. His condition is going to get him compared to anybody because your eye is just automatically drawn to how sharp he is. And, I think he knows how to present himself and he's got the experience in tough shows against tough competitors. I think really what's going to, be the difference here is everybody who places ahead of him is just going to be bigger. That's the only thing. I love Barb's. Barb's, if you're watching, you're going to kill it, in the future, man. I just think this is going to be a real tough show because I think really the one thing that you got left to do, man, is just put some more tissue on because once you put tissue on after this year, I think you're going to be in that next level because
Agreed.
Barb's is leveled up already and he's put on size, but I think he needs just maybe 5 more pounds to really be like, top 10 Olympia status.
Yeah.
Just needs that little bit more, but I think he's gonna battle here and he's gonna fight for that top five. So I got Barb's in fifth.
All right. Are we? Am I?
You want
Am
me
I
to
going to
hit
go
the
with the
fourth
fourth?
now?
All right. All right. Um, my fourth place pick is going to be Tony.
All right.
Um, I think he just looks absolutely phenomenal. He's super classic. Um, just everything about him looks classic. I think it's just going to be conditioning is going to be the big question mark for him. Um, but yeah, I think he's going to be fourth.
So Tony Duong in fourth. I've got Jai Hun Park in fourth place. Finished 15th at the Olympia last year. The only guy in this lineup by default who placed at the Olympia last year. So I think there's something to be said there. His condition's really solid, very muscular. He's a shorter guy, but I mean, he packs on the muscle, and I think that's going to really separate him here in this lineup. So I've got Jai Hun Park in fourth place.
All right. Third place, I'm gonna have to go. And this is where it gets hard. This is where it gets really hard, man, because I just don't know. Because it could be any of them. It really just depends on who comes in 100%. Because all three of these guys that I'm going to pick, they all have what it takes to win the whole dang thing. They just have to make sure to come in at their all-time best. Um, this is and at this point, it's going to come down to track record, I guess, on like who's most consistent. So, and third place, I'm going to go with the Black Panther.
Right. Dan Covey Anderson in third place for Brad.
But I want to add, he could win the whole thing if he comes in lights out peeled and the other guys come in a little bit off, is the other thing. Because the thing that's going to hurt him is his back. And I think that's going to be the part that he's going to have to really fight with the other guys for is winning those back shots or at least having better conditioning to them to where it doesn't matter, if there's a disparity in the back. I think that's going to be really his biggest challenge. But he has the shape for it, and he has that stage presence. He's got the posing, he's got it all. He just needs to bring it in 115%.
Yeah, he's also my third place pick. I think Danny just has one of the best shapes in classic. I'm a huge fan of his. I think if we're going based on track record, the two guys that I've got ahead of him are going to be a little bit sharper in terms of condition, and they have
Yep.
the same classic shape. So I mean, it's like this could be separated by 1 point. That's how
Yep.
close the show could be. Danny could win it. Any of the two guys that I've got ahead of him could also win it. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he won the whole damn thing, to be honest. So I got Danny in third.
Oh boy. Um, man, I don't want this pressure. Um, I'm gonna okay. And I'm only saying this because I just haven't seen anything recent from him. I'm gonna have to go with Robert Timms in second because I just don't know. And I can't really say for sure if he's made the improvements that he needs. And I know Logan has, and that's the difference. Um, if there was some definitive proof or recent proof that he's improved his legs, because he always comes in lights out peeled, like he's peeled year round. Like the guy is just, I mean, this was 24 weeks ago. He wasn't even ready for a show. He wasn't doing anything, and he looked like that. So it's not going to be a question of conditioning. It's just going to be a question of balance is the biggest thing for him. So just because I'm not 100% sure, I'm going to go with him in second because I think Logan has done enough to win this whole thing. I think he's improved that much.
Here's Logan. All right. So I'm going to go with the exact same 1 and 2. I think Rob's going to take second. Logan's going to get revenge and beat him. And this is because I just think Logan having taken the helm himself and really, I mean, he's been doing this for years. He's been a high level Olympian for just about a decade now, and he knows what works for him. And I think a lot of people kind of forget what can happen when you take over coaching yourself. Don't get me wrong, a great coach can do great things, but Logan is very experienced, and I think he probably already had made the adjustments that he needed to beat Rob by the Olympia last year. But
Agreed.
to showcase those things on stage due to a failed peak. So I just think that Logan is gonna beat Rob in a couple of things. I think he's going to be more balanced, like you said, more balanced and proportionate, and be just a little bit more classic because he has the upper body that matches the lower body. There is a bit of a disparity there for Rob. And I think Logan's posing will be a deciding factor. Fantastic poser, captivating performance, and it's in his home state. So an extra fire, an extra motivation to get revenge. I got Logan Franklin winning the Texas Pro in
Absolutely.
his backyard. So those are our picks, ladies and gentlemen. Brad and I will um, again post this on Instagram to make sure the video is up. You guys will see that coming very soon. I'll put the link to the Texas Pro live stream in this video as well once it goes up on Thursday, and also post on my Instagram again. Make sure you give Brad a follow here on Instagram. That is brad.pfeifer. So hit the follow on Instagram. And
Thank you.
before we get out of here, just want to again thank Brad for coming on. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, man. Before we get out of here, do you want to give any shout outs, any words to the people?
Just shout out to all my family here at the Muscle Factory in San Antonio, and also the competitors from our home gym that are going to be up on stage this weekend. It's a big show, and I'm excited to watch it. Make sure you buy the dang live stream as soon as it comes out. Support the industry, support the favorite bodybuilders that you guys, follow. It's huge for the industry to get this publicity, and this is going to be a huge show. I mean, I caught you saying it earlier, but I couldn't believe it. They're already sold out of the online tickets. So they're saying, come in and buy it in person, because that's the only way you're going to get it. That's good news to hear. That's really cool. So just make sure you're supporting and getting the live stream if you want to watch it. And, I'm excited for the show.
Yes, sir. You heard it here, guys. Tune into the Texas Pro this Friday. Prejudging starts at 9 a.m., finals at 5. Those are both Central Time. Again, thanks for watching another video from CPC Bodybuilding. And thank you to my special guest, Brad Pfeifer, IFBB Classic Pro. See you guys. Keep it classic.